Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hi, welcome back to Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I'm your host, Jason Shea. Today we have a special guest, Alex from Pause Play. Alex is a designer and an innovator who has spent over a decade related to sensory equipment. And his journey started early from growing up with a deep awareness for people with additional needs, later supporting autistic classmates, which really sparked the idea of creating his current brand. And he also has background in engineering, music, and even structural design. Thank you so much for being on our show today, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, could you kind of share with our audience your background and like how do you even like get into doing what you're currently doing right now?
Sure. So I've always been fascinated by products and toys in particular. My dad was always taught to put away his toys or his, in particular, growing up on a farm tractors and model tractors. So he then became a collector and he still is a collector to this day. So I've always been fascinated by not just the product and how it's made, but also the packaging. Because sometimes in collectibles, the box is worth more than the actual product itself. Now, having that kind of model engineering background from my dad and had disability in the family, I then, after going down the kind of creative route with music, decided that there was a gap in the market and also there was a need for a product where children could go to relax and just be. This kind of hit home really at school. As mentioned, living with a family member with Down syndrome, I saw kind of firsthand what it's like, how it really affects the family. And I saw this in school when I was paired with an autistic boy who used to go under the table and just go to relax, and that would be his space. And I'd always kind of ask my mum, was there anything out there? Was there anything kind of cool looking? There's a place for him to go. And there was, but nothing that was quite cool. Nothing that could be deemed as another world, somewhere fun that didn't look too clinical. So later on in life, I became a designer, designing structural, so exhibition stands and conference exhibits. One day we were doing an exhibition where I designed this structure and a few ladies exited the structure and I overheard them saying it's like being in another world. And that's when I thought, maybe now this is the chance where we can create these different changing worlds where people can go to not just only relax, but also to stimulate and to play as well.
I see. And I know you have very unique product as well. Can we also talk about a little bit about the product that your company has designed and how is that helping, especially kids with sensory needs?
Sure. So I've started back in 2013 with the early designs. Being a structured designer, we used to do a lot of designs for and in inflatable structures, and we still do with my other company. After this kind of light bulb moment, then in 2014 launched the product, which is an interchangeable adventure immersive play space. So it's a place where children can go to relax, to play, read, but the interchangeability of it means that there is an investment to start with the product, and then children's taste, as we all know, they change so often, can journey with them throughout childhood. So there's different adventures. First, it just started with the lights in the structure, an inflatable pod structure with just two themes to start with. I then developed some sound effects. First, it was really basic. We used to email people the MP3s, and I mean, it's just what happened really before. I mean, apps are around, but they were super expensive.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot's changed now with the low code, no code kind of stuff, and then that's just what people expect from a product, without being too techy. So the product was always designed to be inclusive, so for all children, but particularly at the time for children with additional needs, because of its kind of calming, relaxing benefits. It's great for all kinds of things such as autism, ADHD, right up to anxiety, which obviously peaked 3 or 4 years ago. As much as it stimulates and kind of invokes immersive imaginative play, it's great for sensory relaxation as well. So the key was to always kind of create different worlds, interchangeability. So this wasn't a one trick pony or a something that would just be phased out because the child didn't like spaceships anymore. They wanted to go to jungle or something like that. So having that interchangeability means that we can also switch up, as we say, switch up their world and just change the adventure from journey to journey.
Yeah, and also on your website, looking at all the different themes that you have. For our audience that's listening, obviously you can check out our YouTube channel if you want to see the actual product. But I think your design is very unique. And can you also talk about what is actually included in the product if people get one of those products? What is actually included in the bundle?
Yeah, so we've got 3 different products. The one that you're seeing there is the Pods Pop, which is the kind of the smallest addition to the range and the second addition to the range. So you get in there the tent with a removable inner and exterior jacket. We call that an adventure jacket. You get LED lights which are pre-installed into the tent or into that structure. A memory foam mat, so it's super comfy, not just for kids, but also for adults for story time. So parents were thinking of your bums as well. Then it comes with remote control, so that can be controlled. So you have some children that prefer a fixed light. With color therapy, certain colors, certain hues evoke different reactions. But we find white is fantastic for reading time as it really highlights the color. But also a smooth fade is just the most calming setting that there is. And when the house lights are down, the glow is really quite hypnotic. It's so soothing, so calming. And then you can speed up the lights if you so wish for a bit more kind of
change the light color. You can change the color too, right? Okay.
Yes, yeah. Now we also provide a Bluetooth speaker in there as well because we've developed audio books, audio stories, ebooks, and sound effects. So it kind of really takes the immersive play adventure into the next generation. So I write the stories, they're rhyming, they're based on Professor Pods and Be the Badger. So they're always on an adventure in the themed world or themed journey and adventure that they're in. And it's about 6 to 7 minutes long. So it's a ready to go activity where schools can use this for in a reading corner situation or let's say at home for story time, playtime, or pre-bedtime routine.
I see. Thank you for sharing that. From an engineering and design perspective, what are some of the key challenges in creating product like this one?
Yeah, so I guess with this one in particular is a bit more known because of the way it's designed than the Inflatable. The Inflatable was our first one, and we ran with that, and we're still running with that because it's the most kind of aesthetically cool looking product that we do, the one with the domed roof. Cost really is the biggest hurdle for most of it. So with an inflatable, in layman's terms, let's call it a bouncy castle. So it has an integral pump. Now that integral fan that we use needs to be incredibly safe, incredibly quiet, because so many children are provoked by sound.
Yeah.
But then some love the white noise. So we appreciate it's not for everybody, but it's incredibly quiet. It's the quietest fan that we've found and developed. So the cost in that is the thing that kind of was the biggest hurdle. And also consistency of, because everything's handmade and it's such a lot of sewing.
Okay.
As we say, it's leaking through millions and millions of holes in the seams. So it's designed to leak. Therefore, it's super safe and it's that kind of super, almost padded. So it's a really different experience when you're inside. It's hard to explain, but you feel cocooned, you feel safe. And should you have a boisterous child inside, they're not going to hurt themselves like they would if they're in, let's say, a regular tent, if they were to throw themselves against the side. So that's always the kind of the hardest part. So we're working and we worked on the Pods Pop to bring it down to a more kind of household suitable
Mhm.
budget, really.
I think last time when we spoke, you mentioned to me that you're working on the smaller version as well. Yeah.
Yes, so that's still in development at the moment, but all kind of have the largest one that we do is the therapy pod. So we go through right to dementia age. So we have a large one, which is a 2.3, with less in American or in US money, that's 8 foot by 8 foot. And you can house a single bed in there. So it's great for all ages, particularly kindergartens, because you can house up to 8 children. So fantastic for story time. And then, as I said, right through to the elderly, whereby this can save care homes a lot of money by not needing to go out, because sometimes the bus might be booked or sometimes the weather might be terrible. So with the interchangeable themes and adventures on the inside, which are more age appropriate, we can provide an experience which hopefully will get elderly users to reminisce.
Oh, I see. What are some of the feedback that you have been getting from the customer that has been using your product?
Yeah, really quite emotional feedback, because let's say that there's been blackout tents and stuff on the market for a long time and they have their use, but the multi-use of a pod is what we're hearing back, and we've heard back for years, is that it's transformative and is one of the most used piece of assisted tech that charities buy from us and that parents have ever bought. It's basically like their own personal sensory room, a portable
Mhm.
sensory room.
Yeah.
And you probably heard about the costs of that. And again, they have their uses, but
Mm.
with that familiar space that anyone can then take to the grandparents or even on holiday, it's just something that is just known, feels comfortable, and can be part of daily routine wherever you go. As we say, imagination anywhere.
I see. Got it. And I know a sensory play is definitely evolving. And I know with your product, you currently also come with an app too, right? That's where you
Yes.
play the stories that you mentioned.
Yeah. So as a father as well, we want to be screen free. We appreciate that an app is sometimes the best way to deliver the audio, the digital content. Now, we say the app is for the parent. So the parent can be inside the pod reading with the child. So it's a really lovely bonding time where, again, to make a great routine before bedtime, where parents can read with their child before bed, and yeah, the audio can be playing at the same time. So you get that real atmospheric experience. And so that's what the app is there for. Again, we're kind of working on that and developing that, because I've been writing stories for about 8 years. So
Okay.
starting to put that all together and improve and increase the amount of stories that we offer, and also improve the graphic content as well.
I see. And I think with that digital element, it really also enhanced the overall experiences for the kids and for the family too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we've got some new cool ideas as well to make it even more immersive, which you'll hopefully see pretty soon. But all that will kind of come through the app as well. But ideally, we want the child to be sitting, playing, and immersed in real play with toys, pretending that they're an astronaut or that they're a jungle explorer. So really getting immersed in full role play because of all the benefits that has. I mean, it's so magical to watch a child be lost in play,
Mm.
and not just aimlessly staring at a screen. So yeah, there's not enough of it, and I hope with our product, and I know with feedback from parents that that's what it gives them. It's that kind of them being a kid again.
I see. And I think part of your product is also really about bridging the gap between therapy and play. How do you approach in your product design to make the space that's both fun and therapeutic?
Yeah, I mean, so inclusivity is what we've always been about. So there's never been really a distinct way. I always thought if you make something look really cool and you can make it accessible in terms of being able to walk, wheel, or crawl into a space, it
Mhm.
can be for any child. Or we have adults buying our product, and we always get jokes from and comments from parents and teachers at shows going, "You do know when the kids go to bed, we're going to be in this." So it's
Yeah.
it's just because regardless of age, regardless of ability, we all need that space to go to unwind, to relax, to shut ourselves off from the rest of the world. It
Mm.
just it's funny that a couple of bits of fabric and a bit of light can do that. But we do that in a way that it connects with the sound of things, and the way it's backlit, it creates a lovely glow. So yeah, there's nothing in particular what we try and do. It's just if you can get that accessibility in, and we don't want to be known as purely a product for children with additional needs. We want it to be for all children, and this is for all children. So yeah, with the increase also with the implementation of the Pods Pop product, we started to find a new market, being the toy market. So for the last 10, 12 years, we've been in healthcare, I'd say, and education. But with the new Pods Pop, it's getting us into that toy zone. So we're really new to this place.
I see. Of course. And because your products serve many different audience, you mentioned about the families, the school, the therapy centers, and I think each one of them have very different needs, and you kind of need to tailor to what they are asking for as well.
Yeah, there's definitely different languages when it comes to marketing that kind of needs to be addressed, because yes, we have the care industry, and we stock all the hospices in the UK for obviously life limiting children with life limiting conditions, and it gives them that kind of magical experience. Then we have schools where, let's say, reading corners or one-to-one sessions where children can open up about personal issues, and then at home, play, and again, relaxation. So yeah, there's different ways for us. There's just so much for us to talk about. It's hard sometimes. You can't really concentrate on one thing because they're all very important.
I see. Yeah. And I think marketing wise is also a little bit tricky because your product is definitely on the high end of the spectrum if you're compared to any other toys or games within the industry. What are some of the digital marketing strategies that you have tried that has worked best?
So digital, because our product needs to be experienced, the best way, it's not digital, but the best way is exhibitions. We meet at exhibitions influencers, and influencers reach out to us. So that's probably the best way in us kind of working with them under collaboration, so that they can tell the world from a different point of view. And we've worked with parents with children with autism, and it's really went down really quite well. And that's really has worked for us. So that we'll always continue to do that, because there's so many different things that you can do with the product. We always say to our customers, imagine you're a film director and we've got like 7 themes. So you can create your own mini film trailer with this and get really creative, because of, that it looks great in a dark environment, and it can look really cool. I'd say SEO is slightly easier for us than anything else, because it's such a niche and there isn't any competition really under that price point. So that has worked quite well for us. But you always got a thing in a niche. It's sometimes good to have competitors. They drive the awareness up, but that's probably being high up on the organic is probably the best thing for us, because being around since 2014 and having a website does help. I'm terrible at social media. I hate it on a personal level. I just can't see the point in it, but I know that's where our customers are. So to be better at it, and so we kind of have a team that now have been doing that for a while now, and it's helped. But it's it's difficult, especially when it looks more relevant and obviously more poignant when a child is in shot. But we totally understand that's sensitive information, so it's hard to push that. So especially with children with additional needs, so going into the toy industry is a bit easier in that respect.
Oh, really? Okay. So what are some of the feedback when you're going to, for example, toy trade show, etc. so far?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a kind of a showstopper, really. People walk past and just stop. And the first thing is either I want one of those, or I know exactly someone who would love that. And when you kind of tell them the benefits, and it looks fantastic. And the big thing had been for many years was the size. So the 6 foot diameter was a bit of a struggle, especially in the UK. You guys in America have apartments that are bigger than houses over here, and on a normal scales. This product would definitely be great for the US market, and we do sell to America from the website, but we don't have an agent yet. You're going to tell me this is where you come in, Jason.
We can potentially help. So obviously, for sure. So what is next for the companies? What are some of the additional innovation and expansion on the horizon?
Yeah, lots. We are always trying to make things more immersive and also always trying to bring costs down so it's more affordable. But that's just economies of scale, really. So especially the new product. The new product's only really been in the market for about 2 years, and we've been flirting around with a price. And we've, let's say, designing an even smaller one. So hopefully that's out for, well, it really needs to be out by October, really, for Christmas. So we're looking into Amazon at the moment. We've done we've spoken before about Amazon. So that's definitely a new strategy, because I had sold bits and pieces, and what we found on there before, but schools use it for procurement in the UK. So yeah, it's quite good for that.
I see.
All your card details are stored. It's just trusted. However, Amazon doesn't look great when you're selling it on there. I'd rather buy it from someone's website there, because it just looks slicker on someone's website. Amazon, I know you have to follow their rules and things, but it just doesn't look like our brand on there.
Yeah. That's definitely a lot of different limitation with the platform, but that's also a lot of different components you can optimize, which I think I showed you last time, but that's about like 8 different components you can optimize on the product detail page for Amazon purposes as well. So, but thank you so much for sharing that. So I know you have been doing this for quite a while now, but if you have to share one piece of advice with someone that's just getting started with their own entrepreneurial journey with the product within the toys and game industry, what would that be? What would be your advice?
So I would say the sooner you do it, the better. Now, as you get older and the mortgage and kids and things like that, it gets harder and harder to make those risks, because it is a big risk. And I've always quite enjoyed all of that. But when you do get those responsible adult things in your life, you do have to think twice about what you do. But I'd say it's a long game. Although we want things quicker, although the internet's quicker, although communication is amazing when you're dealing with whoever's making it in wherever in the world, the communication is bang, bang, bang. It's great. I remember when it was just emails, and then there'd be a time difference, and it would take weeks to get something down and develop stuff to and fro. But then when WhatsApp came through, it was just fantastic. What a time saver. And then the invention of actually you can send videos and stuff to explain what you mean. And then it's just so much better. So I'd say it is a long game, and really stick with it and just go for it. Absolutely go for it. So we were writing some patents last year, and our attorney was saying to us that the toy industry is the place where it's kind of like a bit of a stomping ground where tech companies start. Because if you can't make it into a toy, if you can't make it safe, if you can't make it cheap, and you can't make it in high production, then it won't fly as a piece of tech. So it's a great place to introduce things, and then with that tech, they take it onto other things, which is I found that really quite interesting. So it is hard, and it is all, of course, it's all about the margins, of which, as I said previously, we'd struggled with, because distribution, I'd say, is has been one of our biggest blind spots, really. So as you go through and you get more feedback and more reviews and everything like that, you can get to a point where you can increase your margins, and then stockists can come involved, because for many years we were direct from website, and it was difficult, really difficult. And everything obviously bootstrapped. So in not giving up and just stay in the game, that's what I've always been told. If you can stay in the game, you never know what's coming around the corner. Who's going to be on the phone call? What email you're going to get about a new brand licensing deal or something like that, or offer that you can't refuse. Which actually this year we're starting our first licensing deal.
Oh, congratulations!
So really excited about that. So that will hopefully be live in the September-October batch.
Oh, okay, nice. For sure.
So hopefully you'll start to see what you'd expect from all your favorite toy characters on our product soon.
I see. Okay, that's very exciting news. And thank you again for your time today and sharing your story and your journey with your business.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
And for our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you have enjoyed today's conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resources, tips, and the latest update within the toys and game industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag #ToyBusinessUnboxed. We love to hear your feedback and suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joy to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.